Hello, I am here to do another brand review. This one suggested from Anne. So let's click over here and see what we can find. I am not familiar with, maybe there's only been 2 out of the last, 35 different brand reviews that I've even heard of. So I am not familiar with any of these, so you guys are seeing my reaction the first time looking at all of these and how I assess a brand's website for safety and information. So we have organic, pure, and rare. Let's just click on all essential oils. And then I can go down through. There are certain essential oils that I love to click on because there are certain safety issues for specific essential oils that should be flagged when use. Allspice is one that I would rather see not sold because it has so much safety possible adverse reactions when being used. So let's first of all okay, so Pimenta dioica. This is not what the botanical name should be for allspice, so I'm not sure what kind of variety or species that particularly is. What we generally want to look for is Pimenta officinalis. So they are suggesting 5 to 7 drops in a bath. I'm not seeing here where they are suggesting to add a carrier. Vaporizer 3 to 5 drops, that's fine as far as using essential oils in a diffuser. Not okay with allspice, so many safety issues. 3 drops in 10 ml, so that would be 1.5% dilution, which is not diluted enough. Allspice needs to be diluted to 0.15% if used, and I don't recommend using it at all based on all the safety issues, which I will get to in a moment. Safety: do not take internally, use in moderation, avoid contact with eyes, may cause skin irritation, avoid during pregnancy, not suitable for infants, store away from children. I am wondering if this is their version of a generic cover your butt safety recommendation. What I like to see in the safety profiles for essential oils is specific safety, specific to the essential oil itself, not just your generic keep away from children, don't get in your eyes kind of thing. Because when we see a generic safety guideline, we tend to tune that out and we don't take it seriously. But if we are seeing avoid during pregnancy only on some of the essential oils, then we can understand that only some essential oils do have issues with using during pregnancy. So for allspice, this is again one of the handful, just a few handful of essential oils that I don't recommend using at all. It's just not worth the risk. It is potentially carcinogenic. It is anticoagulant, and to safely use it on the skin, you need to dilute it to 0.15%. That is a really low percent. It almost makes it not even useful to apply to the skin, because typically when you are treating topical skin issues, you want at least 1 or 2 to 5 to sometimes even 20% to really help with whatever issue that you were trying to help with, such as circulation. You may need 5 to 10 to 20% to be helpful for circulation, but then you are going over the topical max, which is risky. Not safe for use during pregnancy or breastfeeding. It's anticoagulant, and it does have some drug interactions. I'm not seeing any of that listed here. You know what? Let me click on the in-depth just to see if maybe they put it over there. Okay, so not really. They're just referencing to grab another book, which again kind of puts the ball in your court to make sure that you know the safety and not relying on this website for that. Let's click on basil and see if they have the chemotype listed. So this is your typical Ocimum basilicum. There are several different kinds of basil. There's Ocimum americanum. There's several other different kinds of species, but even within this particular basil, Ocimum basilicum, there are several different chemotypes. So when I click on basil, I want to see that they reference which particular chemotype that they are recommending. Sorry, not the chemotype they're recommending, chemotype that they are using, because that will tell you the safety of the essential oil. There are different safety issues depending on which chemotype this is. I am seeing the generic safety information here. This is safe for use with children. This is safe for use during pregnancy, even depending on the chemotype. Where the chemotype makes this different is on the topical max. Varying chemotypes depending on the topical max. Could be anticoagulant depending on depending on the chemotype itself, and we don't know that. It's simply lacking in information here. So they do reference there are many chemotypes of basil. This oil is extracted from the true sweet or French variety, but that doesn't tell us the chemotype. And the usage is 5 drops, so that's a 2.5% topical max, which we don't know if that's going over because there's no chemotype listed. All right, so let's take a look at bergamot and see if this is flagged for being phototoxic. It's not. So there's no phototoxic flag here. So let's see if this happens to be the steam distilled one. Okay, so it is. Okay, cold expression of the peel of the still green fruits. But then they're saying they supply rectified bergaptan-free oil due to the risk of phototoxicity. So instead of this being steam distilled, what they must be doing is cold pressing it and then fractionally distilling it to remove the bergaptan or the furanocoumarins. So that's why there was no safety flag for it being phototoxic, because this particular one is not based on the distillation. So that is good to know. That is not phototoxic. Camphor. Camphor has several different kinds, brown, yellow, and white. And let's see if they distinguish which one. This is saffron free. I don't think that's specific enough. Let me just look up the camphor really quickly here. Oops, wrong way. Apparently I don't know my alphabet. Camphor. Here it is. Yeah, so that's not telling us much. We want to know brown, yellow, or white. If there was a GCMS available, then we could know also like what is included, what is in the camphor to know which type it is. And I'm not seeing that either. Oh, look at it says white camphor right on the label. Okay, so this is white camphor. So that should be here. I totally missed that. So on the actual bottle and the label, it does actually list white camphor. So that is good to know. White camphor is preferred. Good to know. I'm glad I caught that. Alrighty, so let's take a look at carrot seed. This is one that's not safe for use during pregnancy. Seek advice if pregnant. Now, again, I don't know if they're really like, don't use this during pregnancy, or, you know, because this is part of their generic, they have this on all of the essential oils, how seriously to take that. But yes, this one really should not be used during pregnancy. In this case, that is accurate. All right, let's go to the end and see what they have here. Spanish sage. Let's click on that one and see which type they have. Okay, so this is not the neurotoxic one, so that's good to know. But Spanish sage is not recommended to use if pregnant or breastfeeding, not safe around pets, and it does have a 12.5% topical max. Now, it is saying not suitable for epileptics or those with high blood pressure. Yeah, those with high blood pressure. Now, essential oils really don't cause high blood pressure. That was a myth that was assumed based on old information. So this needs to be updated. Essential oils will not cause your blood pressure to rise unless you really hate the smell and you're getting really angry about it. But it does not affect your blood pressure as far as raising it. Now, essential oils, some of them can be calming, make you feel relaxed and lower your blood pressure, but not like a medication where it's going to make it so bad that it's going to be unsafe for you. Okay. Let's take a look at another one. I was on at the end here. Okay, so ylang ylang. So there are different types. It's good to know that they are distinguishing. There is ylang ylang 1, 2, and 3, and there's extra, and there's complete. Ylang ylang is one of those essential oils that actually has multiple distillations. Well, to clarify, it has one distillation, but what they're doing is they're pulling off the different aromas as it's being distilled. So the ylang ylang extra is going to have the more floral aromas instead of having the more musky aroma. Ylang ylang can have varying aromas depending on how. The extra are going to be those constituents taken off right in the beginning. They will be the top notes. They will be the more floral notes. And then they pull off more constituents and collect those. And that's ylang ylang 1. And then we have 2, and then we have 3. And complete is where they do the complete distillation from beginning to end and give you the total constituents. So some people feel that ylang ylang extra is more calming and more aphrodisiac based on its really floral aroma that is distilled right away. The base notes are going to be the ones distilled nearer to the end. This does have a low topical max, which I'm not seeing. It does say use in moderation as its heady scent can cause headaches or nausea. Now, that can be the case with any essential oil. If you over diffuse, you can find yourself having a headache, having allergy type symptoms, and feeling nauseated. That can happen with any essential oil. But yeah, this one is better used carefully and sparingly and blended with other essential oils. Linda says, I love ylang ylang. Some people love it, some people hate it. Okay, let's see. Let's grab another couple essential oils here. Now, Ravinsara, let me look that up for you guys. That has some safety issues. Now there is bark, there is leaf, and like cinnamon, they do have a little bit different safety issues. Now, interestingly, I am not seeing not safe for use during pregnancy here. Now, it is safe for use during pregnancy, but on a couple of the other profiles, it was listing, either be careful and use with caution or don't use at all if pregnant, and they weren't always accurate. In this case, it seems like maybe they're not using the same generic few lines in the safety paragraph here, but it's not very consistent. Now, Ravinsara can be safe for all ages, but both bark and leaf have very, very low topical maxes, which could be why they're suggesting to use in moderation. However, they're both potentially carcinogenic. The bark is anticoagulant, so I don't know. Okay, so this is from the leaves, so that does make it a bit safer. Again, it still is potentially carcinogenic depending on the constituents that are used. Depending on the volume of specific constituents that are distilled in this distillation. So it really depends on what, and I'm not seeing any GCMS reports here to know exactly what that looks like. So just use with caution. Let's see what other, actually I was already on 5. Let me do a couple more and then I'm going to see if there's any blends. They just have so many essential oils here. but I'm really not seeing a specific safety information really. Like this one, for example, should be avoided around children under the age of 10, and I'm not seeing that here. Yeah. So I'm not really seeing a whole lot of specific safety information here. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a resource yourself that you are relying on instead of relying on the website for all of the safety information. I'm just looking for blends. So I'm not seeing any pre-made blends. Okay. All right. I don't know if they have any. I just want to make sure. Let's just see if they happen to have... Nope. Okay, so those aren't... Really? Bronchitis and cough. I would disagree. Those would not be the two that I would show you if you are looking for bronchitis and coughs. Alrighty, so I guess that's pretty much it. If you want your own resource that you can look up the safety no matter what website you are checking out, you can grab a copy of Essential Oil Safety Files or Essential Oil Profiles, both of which you can find at uoslibrary.com. All right, guys, if you have any questions about anything that I've said, if you have questions about the safety information contained on maybe something I didn't click on, please feel free to leave me a comment below and I can verify whether the safety information presented is accurate or not. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube and then I'm going to go ahead and do another review. So I'll see you in a few minutes.